Welcome back. Previously, we were discussing about employment creation in various cooperatives with regard to client owned cooperatives, and we were discussing some of the different types of cooperatives. Let us continue with that. Next one, employment creation with regard to handicraft and industries. How employment creation opportunities was made in a client owned cooperative like handicrafts and industries. So let us discuss with that. Independent craftsmen join together and form cooperatives for the supply of raw materials, marketing of their products and services. Apart from that, there are other services with regard to that, and all these activities come under the same category. These are known as industrial client cooperatives. In 1974, 384 craftsmen in Dar es Salaam, it's the name of the place, joined together and formed a cooperative known as Dar es Salaam Small Industrial Cooperatives, otherwise known as DASICO. It's an example of a client-owned cooperative that comes under the head handicraft and industry. It has provided employment opportunities to a large number of persons. In the beginning, there were 384 craftsmen. Now, at present, there are more than 600 craftsmen are working under this cooperative. They dealt in general engineering works, woodworks, or otherwise known as carpentry, welding, paper bag making, and other sorts of handicraft activities. They made their products in their own sheds or their own work areas and sell them, and around 7% of sales is given to the cooperative as overhead expenses. They provide its members with training, official recognition, marketing and social services, and apart from that, they were providing all other sorts of services to its members who are working under DASICO. So, in general, client-owned industrial cooperatives like the case which we have discussed now, DASICO, stabilize and formalize informal sectors. They provide micro entrepreneurs in informal sector with legal protection to a certain extent. So thereby providing an adequate amount of employment opportunities to the members. Next, other non-traditional cooperative area is trade, transport and services. Centrally planned economies such as Sudan, Ethiopia, Angola, and Mozambique had a large number of consumer cooperatives. They provide commodities at highly subsidized rates that helps the members in acquiring it without any further cost. These cooperatives were born after the introduction of market economic principles. Even though it was a great benefit to the members, after the introduction of market economic principles, these cooperatives were closed down. Now, these are limited to Botswana, Namibia and Swaziland. In Africa, only in these three countries, such type of cooperatives are working, like the central planned economies. Employment creation by a cooperative is only to a limited extent in Africa. Even indirect employment in Africa is not much because most of the African consumer cooperatives sell imported goods and thus stimulate production outside their own country. As we have mentioned just now, these cooperatives were removed or closed down after the introduction of market economic principles. And majority of the cooperatives in Africa are consumer cooperatives, and their motto is to provide consumer goods at a subsidized rate to the members rather than providing employment opportunities. So in Africa, in general context, employment opportunities are very limited in cooperative sectors. That was the condition in case of trade, transport and services. Let us discuss the next non-traditional area, housing cooperatives. They exist in different forms in Africa, such as self-help groups where members help each other in building homes in a way similar to traditional self-help associations. They do not create direct employment, only provide assistance. There are another set of groups otherwise known as building societies which deal only with financial aspect of housing and functions like credit unions. And finally, joint builders who agree on a standard plan of construction and negotiate with a building contractor. These cooperatives create temporary employment in building industries. So in this non-traditional area also, employment creation was not much up to the level to meet the requirement of the need of the African countries. Housing cooperatives are not widespread in Africa. They are prominent only in countries like Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Morocco, Senegal, where government grants substantial benefits such as state-sponsored cooperatives are to be considered as interest groups primarily to benefit from government subsidies. Donor supports in Kenya also promotes building cooperatives to a larger extent. Even after providing all these services, there are cooperatives who are providing or creating job opportunities in non-traditional areas such as Kampala Shoe Shiners Cooperatives. It is one of the famous cooperative in Africa. In the beginning, it started as a savings and credit cooperatives. Later on, with the improvement in performance, they started a small plant, thereby providing jobs to around 3,000 members in Kampala. As we have discussed now earlier, in majority cases in non-traditional cooperatives, employment creation was not up to the mark because they were having some other objectives and motto. But still, in some non-traditional areas, just like the cases which we are discussing now, they were providing adequate employment opportunities in Africa. And remember the cases, Kampala Shoe Shiners Cooperatives. Next one, ACVZ, otherwise known as Association des Conducteurs du Chariots du Ser. It's actually a French term. It's an association, and in the beginning it was working as a workers' union providing social services. And with the help of European Union and funds from European Union, they were providing job opportunities to the unemployed class. Africa still has a lot of potential in trade and transport services in job creation. There are many types of non-traditional cooperatives having potential, but the government, donors and Apex have neglected it because they were having some other objectives with regard to the mode of operandum. Still, employment opportunities were very scarce in the African continent. Next one, workers-owned cooperatives. Before we go into workers-owned cooperatives, we were discussing about employment creation in various non-traditional cooperatives that are working as client-owned ownerships or client-owned cooperatives. We have discussed some of the heads. Apart from that, there are some other cooperatives such as in the field of fisheries cooperative, cultural cooperatives, home industrial cooperatives, taxi drivers cooperatives, doctors cooperatives, pharmaceutical cooperatives, community development cooperatives, and many more. They all create employment opportunities, but the thing is that the government, the apex organizations, and the donors were concentrating in improving the objectives and targets and goals of the concerned cooperatives rather than providing employment opportunities or create employment opportunities. So let us discuss about the condition. What is the condition with regard to workers owned cooperatives? Previously we were discussing about client owned cooperatives. So let us discuss workers owned cooperatives. First one, agriculture. Usually collective agricultural cooperatives have a history of failure. This is because farmers have a desire of owning their own land and cultivating them. But in certain circumstances, binding them together, they happen to work together as seen in various cooperatives that are working around the world. So let us discuss some of the cases. Union Greenbelt cooperatives in Mozambique providing employment to 20,000 misplaced women of civil war. Usually one of the issue with regard to African countries, usually in some of the countries there will be waging in civil war, internal issues likewise. So 20,000 misplaced women from some of the civil war in Africa, they were provided employment in Union Greenbelt cooperatives in Mozambique. It is the biggest poultry producer, and these cooperatives were helped by NGOs and UN agencies. And this cooperative is known as the biggest poultry producer, and it contributes much of the capital's city's food supply and also provides a decent income to its members. Another example that comes under the worker-owned cooperative is cooperatives in one of the cooperative in Eritrea. It's the name of the place, and in which the cooperative was formed by the ex-fighters, motivated by the strong bond among them, created by the spirit of fighting together, have an urge for living and working together. Apart from that, another cooperatives were known as Sahelian states. That is, cooperatives started in a place known as Sahelian, and this cooperatives where women groups are cultivating collective farms in many of the Sahelian states, and they are also worker-owned cooperatives. So in case of worker-owned cooperatives, usually there will be the workers who will be taken in charge. They will join together, start a cooperative, and they will be the members and they will be the working class. And they will work for themselves and provide assistance to the society. So these were the workers-owned cooperatives with regard to agriculture. Even though agriculture sector in the cooperative field was a failure, still there are some success examples all around Africa. Apart from these examples, try to identify some of the examples with regard to the workers-owned cooperatives in Africa. Next heading, handicraft and industries. Workers-owned handicraft and small industrial corporation, otherwise known as HIC, are usually established by those who cannot finance an individual unit on their own. Also, joint production in a HIC allows for division of labor and thus improves productivity. But such cooperatives are not very prominent in Africa, except in countries like Ethiopia and Tanzania. Let us discuss about the condition in Ethiopia and Tanzania. In Ethiopia, the former Handicraft and Small Industries Development Agencies, otherwise known as HASIDA, HASIDA, provides technological, educational, managerial and financial support services to handicraft cooperatives. And in 1991, there were 719 cooperatives of this model, and they were providing large number of job opportunities, and their actual turnover was 25 million US dollars. And we have discussed about the situation that in 1990, as the adoption of a new policy, the government has reduced its supports to almost all the cooperatives in Africa, and that move was resisted by HIC. And in 1995, number of handicraft cooperatives in Ethiopia under the HASIDA reached 757 cooperatives with a membership of 60,000 and above. Most of the agriculture producers cooperatives has been dissolved by the time, because reduction in the support from government has led to the decline of many of the cooperatives, but that move was resisted by HIC. In 1956, the first Mandragon cooperative was formed by 5 men by a span of 32 years. This movement had grown to 21,000 members working in 100 industrial cooperatives. This success was achieved because of continuous education in technical and economical and social matters, financial structure that maintains worker ownership and control, horizontal integration among different cooperatives and vertical integration through common general management, and finally cognitive framework consisting of basic values, objectives, policies and guiding principles. And in 1973, in Tanzania, Small Industrial Development Organization, otherwise known as SIDO, just like the SIDCO in our country, protecting handicraft and small industrial cooperatives. SIDO was established with massive support incorporating 7,000 members. But in 1991, the new liberal cooperative development policy and the consequently enacted the cooperative law did cut down the subsidies and assistance from government to cooperative sector. Consequently, state-sponsored cooperatives either went dormant or sick or transformed into capital enterprises because they were receiving no assistance. Without the absence of assistance, they were forced to close down. At the same time, many new industrial cooperatives and micro enterprises emerged, taking advantage of the situation. So these were the conditions with regard to the cooperatives in Africa, especially in the workers-owned cooperatives, and the creation of employment opportunities to the unemployed masses in Africa. Let us discuss about some of the other workers-owned cooperatives in non-traditional areas with regard to job creation in the same sector in the next sessions.